No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Ooh, the gym. Old stomping grounds. Hank Patterson, Fly Fishing Guide.
Riley Smith, tight end.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be the kicker?
No, tight end.
Again, thank you. I'm looking for a kicker for Lithia Ford's fall kickoff sale. But you're not the kicker.
No.
Yeah, the kicker's probably taller and in a lot better shape. So, okay. What position do you play?
Tight end.
Squats. Yeah, try it sometime.
RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. First up, he led the Broncos to 3 conference championships and 10 20-win seasons. It's Coach Leon Rice. Next, he's the founder and CEO of RowPaint.com. He played a little basketball in high school on the driveway with his mom. It's Andy Rowe.
Oh, no. Want to just paint my house?
Now that I can do. When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust RowPaint.com to get that job done right.
It's time for the Lithia Ford of Boise Postgame Show from Bronco Nation News. We're breaking down the game with highlights, interviews, analysis, and most importantly, you. Give your thoughts on the game in the YouTube chat or Facebook comments, and we'll include the best ones on the show. Check out LithiaFordBoise.com to view their full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise Post-Game Show from Bronco Nation News.
All right, how we doing, Boise State fans? We're kicking this thing off right away with some interviews. We got Omar Stanley. You might have had the quietest 12-14 in history tonight. Boise State goes on the road to the pit, 86-78. They get the win over the 19th-ranked New Mexico Lobos. One of the best wins in the Leon Rice era, one of the highest-ranked teams they've ever beaten. And Omar, nice enough to sit down for a couple minutes, man. Congratulations. How'd that one feel?
Man, it felt amazing. It felt amazing. You know, I feel like nobody believed, you know, in us, you know what I mean, except for our Boise State Bronco fans and except for our team, you know what I mean? So it feels great to go in there and make the city of Boise proud.
Tell us about the atmosphere and just back and forth and how you guys were able to just keep hanging and keep hitting shot after shot all game.
Yeah, it's amazing, you know what I mean? Before the game, we knew it was going to be a game of runs. We knew that, we'd be up and it would feel like we're losing. You know, it felt like that. We were losing because of how loud this stadium is, you know, and so we're just really grateful.
All right, I waited 2 questions, and now I'll ask about Max Rice. What can you say about him, man? 35 points, some of the threes he was hitting. He had that huge dagger over here with about 2 minutes left at the end of the shot clock. I mean, 35 points. I know this is your first year watching him, but how impressive was that tonight?
Yeah, man, it was amazing shooting clinic. You know what I mean? And he works his tail off. You know what I mean? And we hear all the hate, and for him to go out there and just go out and do what he does best, it really tells you what kind of person Max Rice is.
He had been struggling a little, though. I mean, and I think some of the criticism was maybe warranted. He was struggling. But how had you guys seen him kind of handle the last couple of weeks in practice or at games or whatever when the shots weren't falling? How was he doing mentally, and how was he able to just keep letting it fly and have a game like this?
Yeah, if you know ball, every great shooter, they go through a slump. Every great shooter is not always going to be a great shooter. You know what I mean? And we know he's a great shooter. You know what I mean? He puts the work in. And so we're not surprised by tonight.
What's just how much fun was that to watch, though? He wanted the ball there in the second half, and he was hitting 3 after 3. And I mean, they had us sitting here, with fans right in front of us, right behind us, and some of the comments they were saying, oh my gosh, another one. This guy doesn't miss. I mean, it had to be fun to be a part of that.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like I said, he put on a shooting clinic today, and he's definitely a huge part of this win.
13 points for the bench tonight. I thought Cam had some big plays, that huge dunk he had down the lane. Jace played pretty well with Roddy in foul trouble. How big was the bench?
Yeah, our bench is really, really important. You know what I mean? And we're definitely going to lean on them, later on in this season. And they showed up today. It's been great.
41-33 on the glass as well. You had 14 rebounds, as I said. You had several putbacks, offensive rebounds. How do you describe the effort on the glass tonight?
We always go into we always pay attention to the glass. We feel like that's one of our keys as far as winning. I feel like we went out there and did that tonight.
And just to silence the crowd, man. They were so rocking, ready to go. And there was so many times. I mean, you'd look up and you guys were winning, by a couple. And this place was going crazy. Just your first experience in the pit, man. What was it like tonight?
One of a kind, man. I'm super blessed and super thankful just to be a part of this program, be able to play in these atmospheres.
And to silence them, I mean, just to silence them, have that buzzer hit 0 and be able to walk off here with a win. I mean, what's that feeling like?
It's always great to have a feeling. It's always great to shut up that away crowd. And so. Yeah, man, it feels amazing.
How'd you guys bounce back after that loss to Utah State, man? You lose in overtime. They score on you on the layup there with 1, second left after you missed the free throw. I mean, how'd you guys bounce back? A lot of teams would have folded coming into this atmosphere. I mean, you guys play your best game in several years, maybe.
Yeah, well, the difference is that, we're not like a lot of teams. You know what I mean? We're different. I believe that in my heart, and I believe that we can go however far we want to go.
And I guess final thing, I mean, you had a tough stretch here. Now you go back home against Air Force. You got 2 more big road games next week, though. But I got to think, man, if you come in here and win, now you think you can win anywhere.
Yeah, man. This is one of the hardest places to play at, that at least I've ever played at. And so, we definitely have extra confidence now.
Hey, man, appreciate you. Congrats on the win. It's going to be a fun flight home, man.
Yeah,
and enjoy it, man. Safe travels, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes,
there he is, Omar Stanley. We appreciate him for joining us after Boise State wins this one. Leon Rice going to be joining us shortly as well. Wow, what can you say? Boise State, again, wins this one. Just super, super impressive. Let's go ahead and take a 90-second timeout and get that out of the way. We're going to take a quick 90-second break. Leon Rice going to come join us live next. We're going to have Max Rice live as well. So get your thoughts, your comments in. We're going to play all those. Don't go anywhere. Leon Rice, the head coach, live in 90 seconds. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mix premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. For all your commercial, industrial, residential painting needs, check out rowpaint.com. Don't forget about their concrete coatings. Transform that ugly concrete slab on your back patio in your garage in just one day. Contact rowpaint.com for a free estimate today. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union's been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. There's an ICCU branch on almost every corner, but the closest is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. See why more than 500,000 members love ICCU and join 1 in 4 Idahoans by making the switch today at ICCU.com. Since 1984, Ridley's Family Markets has prided itself on being a hometown food and drug store that employed value members of the local community. Ridley's Family Markets has 13 locations in the state of Idaho and many more in the surrounding states. Download the new Ridley's app to your smartphone, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line, and find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Former Bronco Matt Bauscher is once again the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them fulfill all your real estate needs at BauscherRealEstate.com. All right, back here live, waiting for Leon Rice to come over. Looks like he's about done with radio. 86-78. What can you say about Max Rice? 35 points, 12 of 20 from the field. He was 7 of 14 from three-point range, a career-high 7 three-pointers, as well as the 35 points. And Boise State needed every single one of them in this game tonight. Just incredible performance from Max Rice. There's really not much more you can say. I mean, myself, everybody, I will say that we were a little more positive, and some fans were getting on us for being too negative. Finally, this week, I think we started to look at some of the numbers that Jay Tuss had put out with some of the stats and things, and I kept waiting because I just knew Max Rice was going to have a game like this, and I think a lot of people really did see this coming at some point, and for him to do it in this situation and in this game to help Boise State to this kind of road victory, incredible. And, you know, they beat Creighton when they were ranked pretty high, but other than that, this is one of the highest, the second highest ranked road win in Boise State history. Creighton was number 8, and they only had 3 ranked wins, so only 4 ranked wins on the road in Boise State history, and the second highest. They beat Creighton in 2012 when they were ranked number 8. Just incredible. So it was a huge win for Boise State, and Leon Rice going to come over and join us in just a second. But you take a look at the stats, and again, you had 16 points for Agbo, 12 for Stanley, and Stanley had 12 points and 14 rebounds. So Coach Rice going to sit down and join us. We'll do it at the same time, Coach. It's all good. Just may have to take the headset off or something to hear what he says, but we only get time for one interview, so we'll make it work. Coach Rice, nice enough to sit down with us here and put on the Omar Stanley put it on before you, so had to make it a little smaller there. Coach,
it's a little loud, a little bit.
All right, on you. There we go. Is that better?
There we go.
All right. Congratulations, Coach. I think one of the best wins in your time at Boise State. I mean, just an incredible victory, and given the situation, how's it feel?
You know, just so proud of all our guys. And when I say that, I mean all our guys. Our scout team had one of their best 2 days prepping, because that's a hard team to emulate. But man, our scout team was like, holy cow. And our guards came out of that practice and their arms were all scratched up from the scout team poking and punching, but it got us ready for what we're going to see tonight. And, you know, our point guards were able to handle it. Our guards were able to handle it. Tyson did a great job handling the ball for us to take some pressure off the guards, because, you know, you don't want to be one-on-one dribbling against one of the best and quickest and, you know, best steal guys in the country.
Yeah.
And that's House. And so it started with the scout team, their approach, and then the guys just had a great focus on what we needed to do. But it's, you know, that might be the easy part. It's having to go out here in front of 15,000 and do it. So, man, we handled a lot tonight. I mean, you heard how loud it got in here. Yeah. And to be 4-0 on the road at this point, and, you know, we've won games that people didn't think we'd win. And I don't think people thought we'd win tonight. No, not at all. And I think the only thing Max did wrong tonight, Coach, was he called timeout when you didn't want him to, because he only had one, gave you one with 12 minutes left in the game. And, you know, hey, wasn't a big deal, because he said, hey, every possession's important. And, you know, I kept right before every media timeout, I kept thinking, okay, I'll give him a quick rest now. Then he hit a shot. And I'm like, I think everybody in Boise was like, you can't take him out now. I mean, what a change. I would have been, that's, can you imagine what can you say though, Coach? The fans, the media, everybody the last couple of weeks had been getting on Max about the shooting, and we grilled you about him the other day in the press conference, but I think a lot of people thought that this is why he keeps shooting. This is a game that he has in him. I mean, I got 35, and, you know, I mean, obviously we don't win that game if somebody's not making shots like that. And, you know, the thing about it that you're always evaluating, number one, is he taking good shots? Are we getting him good shots? Our guys did a great job of that, because they're hard to get shots on. Yeah. And, you know, he had a great first half down here last year, mostly in the paint. And then the second half, they were able to face guard him, and we didn't do a good enough job getting him more shots. Tonight, those guys, you know, they recognize the hot hand, and as the team, they got it. And, you know, Max just doesn't care about anything else. He cares about winning. And the thing that shouldn't be lost is he does so many, you know, he comes up with steals that are crucial time. He comes up with rebounds at crucial times. He doesn't turn the ball over. And against these guys, that's huge. And then he was strong enough to get the free throw line for 4 that we needed.
You've watched a lot of his games, though. The fact the second half he wanted that shot, wanted the ball, and was just continuing to hit tough shot after tough shot. I mean, how as a coach, as a dad, whatever. I mean, just in his last game in the pit, to see him do what he did tonight, a career high 7 threes, 35 points. I mean, this is a game that'll be talked about for forever around here.
Well, yeah. Boise State and the Bronco fans should be, excited about that, no doubt. I mean, you said as a dad, I don't think that way, and I don't, it's funny because people always say that stuff to me, like, oh, you must be. I'm proud of the way our guys compete. I'm proud of the way they play together. I'm proud of the great teammates they are, and I'm proud of the way they represent us as Boise State Broncos. It doesn't, you don't raise your pride level because they made some shots. They're trying. These guys are trying to make every shot. I mean, Tyson was 1 for 8 tonight. Do you think I think less of him? No. I mean, it's not there. It's not. Our love isn't contingent on whether they make a shot.
Well, a lot of people are loving him and you right now.
Right, and no doubt, and we know that's so you just don't get too high or too low. We don't get too high when all the shots go in because it's basketball. I mean, you can go, all your shots can't go in the next time. I mean, just there's a lot of shots that he had the other night that just rattled in and out. I mean, so we're always working on how hard you play, how good a teammate you are, how you're helping to make guys better, and you're doing what you need to do defensively. All those things matter, and that's and then it's the competitive greatness that we have with our group is to be able to come in here, stand up to this where no one else has.
No
one else has even come close to him here. And so, and that's a credit to the staff because, like I said, we that last pill that we had to swallow was a bitter one, and it was hard going down, but to bounce back and to come down here when nobody thought we could get it done, and just the 30 that were on this plane, and but we're actually going to divert the plane to Vegas, and we're going to put it all on 12 black.
There you go. for those watching, we're sharing the interview with the Albuquerque Journal here, Coach. And I know he's going to ask a question. I don't know if you can hear him or not with the headset, but go ahead, Sean.
Coach, in terms of, it's not a secret that New Mexico plays for the entire league. I mean, you talk about the challenge of trying to slow down to your pace, especially in this building.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what they've done in the when I watched them on tape, I was like, oh, let me just shut this tape off. I mean, they've blitzkrieged good teams, really good teams, where it's like, oh my gosh, like, their last game was, that was a good team. They played, great coaches, great players, and it looked like a varsity versus JV the way they're playing, and the way they're playing right now is they were one of the hottest teams in the country. So, our guys came in with the proper respect and the proper understanding of that we just can't run and make it let it be played at their tempo. We had to, but it didn't mean, like we weren't, it was more like our Texas A&M game where, it was tempo and we were under control, not just turning them loose with bad shots and turnovers. That was our mindset. And, somebody asked me, well, does it help you if it's in the 60s? I said, well, that game we had great tempo and we scored 88. Tonight, I think we had great tempo and ended up getting 86.
And in terms of, you touched on earlier, the scratches on the arms, the way New Mexico plays and all that. I mean, also how challenging to emulate.
You can't. I mean, there's nobody on our roster that can be those 3 guards. You just, there's very few in the country that have guards like that, and both keeping them in front of you on defense and then handling the ball against them on offense. I mean, those are 2 really, really hard things to do, and somehow we were just like with them. I mean, we went to zone, a couple of those threes just rattled in and out. It's basketball, and because those did, we had a chance to win, and we were fortunate to be there in the end. And Max got hot enough for us to ride that out.
Well, Final thing, Coach. This stretch with the the road games next week and all this. Everyone was looking at this daunting stretch after you lost to Air Force, to Utah State, and kind of going, uh-oh. And to come right back with that response and win this game. I know you don't look ahead, but just knowing what is down the road to get this win now, it's going to help the metrics. It's going to help everything and keep you right there. Sole possession now, a second place. I mean, just how do you put into words what this meant? I guess in the context, big picture here. Well,
I think of an adjustment that I'm trying to wrap my mind around, and I have some buddies that coach in the Big 12, is that when you have we've spent years and years at Boise with life on the bubble. So one loss just felt devastating.
Yeah.
But, you look at those Big 12 teams, they lose by 30, and then 3 days later they beat Kansas. I love to say that to you. And you have to be able to do that when you're in a good league because nobody's running the table.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to have that mindset of recovery and response and just keep going because the opportunities, now you look at where we are, all of a sudden we're, people overanalyze this net because the net is not the most important thing as far as just your pure number, because a lot of those pure numbers are driven by running up the score on bad teams. The biggest jump we made was when we
Northwestern State.
Yeah. We made no jump when we beat San Diego State.
Yeah.
But the thing people are missing is quad one wins are what they care about.
Well, you got one tonight.
Well, and we've got a lot of them.
And a lot of close ones that could go up.
Right, right. And so we're, that's what you're doing when you're in a good league is just keep stacking those. Like you said, we were in a position where we had more than we did at the end of the year last year.
Yeah, you already have more.
Right.
Yeah.
And, this is a top 25 team on the road, and they are a legit top 25
This is the one that you said will be in your pocket all the way to Selection Sunday.
Yeah, you usually have, like you go way back to when we beat Creighton when they were, that was a, feather in your cap that nobody else did.
Yep.
This team's not going to lose again in this gym.
No.
I'm saying it right now.
Yep.
They're not going to lose again in this gym. And, so we did something nobody else did, and that counts for something.
Well, congrats, Coach. Safe travels back, and we'll see you Saturday for Air Force.
All right.
Doesn't get any easier.
It never does on this league.
Pretty as shit, Coach. Thanks. There he is. I don't know. Are we going to get Max? Nate, are we getting Max? Oh, I guess we're not getting Max. We're getting Buzo instead. All right. So Buzo's going to sit down here. We'll take Chibuzo Agbo as they are hurrying off to the plane. And Chibuzo is going to sit down here for a couple minutes. Appreciate it, Buzo. How's it going, man?
It's going good. How about you?
Oh, man, I'm sure it's going to be a fun ride home for you guys. Just to come into this atmosphere and this environment and do what you guys did, how's it feeling, man? How do you explain it?
It feels really good. Not a lot of teams are going to come here and win. This is one of the best environments in college basketball. It was amazing. It was a lot of fun, and we just came in with the resolve to win. That's what we did.
I know you played here before, but just this atmosphere tonight and from start to finish, and every time they'd hit a shot, it felt like you were just down 20 points tonight. What was it? What did it take to be able to not let that get to you and to keep coming back and hitting big shot after big shot?
You just got to keep looking forward. They hit one shot, and you're like, damn, this place is loud. And you're up 4, So it was just that resolve and relentless wanting to win. Along with I feel like we have a senior presence to us, a vet culture. We just didn't get rattled, when stuff got hectic.
You had a big 3 in the corner there. You had a lot of big shots, but I thought that 3 in the corner, I thought kind of extended it from 4 to 7 or something. And that was a huge shot. You had a elbow jumper there, I think. Just back and forth, shot after shot. What did it take to be able to hang with them in this environment?
I think firstly we were physical. We came in rebounding huge in the first half. We got a lot of old boards in the second half, and I think that's what really gets us started. And I think that's part of our identity too. So I think in big games like that, that's a key for us to start hard on the boards.
I don't know how much we've asked you this, but you could have come here. They were one of the schools you were looking at, right? Any thought at all during the game or get the prep or at all, just kind of looking around going, man, I could have been on the other side here.
Yeah, the grass grows where you water it, and it's growing in Boise, so I've been loving it. No second thoughts for me.
What can you say about 12?
Oh, 12, he was hooping tonight. That's him. We knew we were going to get some games like that out of him. And he was pushing us out there. And, he was fearless. A lot of big shots, and a lot of them were going in. That was great to see. It was a lot of fun out there.
And he had been getting some criticism and stuff, and he had been missing some shots. But I think a lot of people kept waiting because they knew a game like this was coming. But the stats, obviously are what they are. How'd you see him kind of handling all that, in the last couple of weeks, and particularly this last week, and kind of, stay locked in to have a game like this?
Yeah, like a true pro, There's been a lot of criticism about him, but we know he's a great player. He showed it tonight. This is what he does. And he handled it like a true pro. Like I said, like you couldn't even tell, you know what I mean? Come to practice, ready to go every day, compete every day, and it's just him.
And when you're a teammate and you see some of the shots he's hitting, he hit the one over here, to the dagger, I think that gave him 7. But I mean, when he's hitting some of those shots, and I mean, just what's that? How much fun is that to watch? And the crowd was making some comments like, again, come on. I mean, just what's that like as a teammate? Just keep feeding him the rock and seeing him have a night like that.
Yeah, give him the ball. I mean, he was cooking. Every shot felt like it was going to go in.
Yeah, and when it did, one of you was there to clean up the rebound.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just a great player. And it's got to be hard being a coach's son. No matter if you do great or if you have one bad game, people are going to have a lot to say. So kudos to him, just keeping his head up.
How'd you guys battle back, man? You lose the overtime game the other day. A lot of fans were kind of giving up. People were worried about things. I mean, how were you guys able to, with this daunting stretch ahead of you, people were saying, it's going to be 4 losses in 5 games now, whatever. I mean, how did you guys not let that, because you should have won that game. I mean, how did you put that behind you and not let that affect tonight's game?
I mean, you can't really listen to outside noise too much because that's exactly what it is, outside noise. We're locked in with the guys that we have inside our team, and we came to practice the next day ready to go. Scout team helped us prepare for this game, and we just had a resolve. We knew we had to win this one.
You mentioned the glass. You guys won 41-33 on the glass.
Yeah.
How big was that to outwin the rebounding battle?
That was huge, and that's part of our identity. I mean, we were talking about it. That's what we got to do. We knew they had some smaller guards in there, and they probably weren't going to box out that hard, so we were just trying to get them. I think had like 14 offensive boards, so that's big time, and that's exactly what we needed out of him.
You might have had the quietest 16-7 in history, man, with what Max was doing. I mean, but you hit the shots when you needed to, and Omar did his thing. I mean, what can you say about the bench too? Some huge shots from the bench, and when Roddy was in foul trouble, I thought Jace came in, had a couple nice layups. Cam had that thunderous dunk. The bench was another group that earlier in the season was getting a little criticism, and they've started to come on these last couple games.
Yeah, I mean, we got a bench full of hoopers, from the guys who come in and play, from the guys who don't come in and play. Everybody's a hooper out there. I mean, these guys, relentless work. Jace every morning before our lift, before our practice, he's getting his work in. After Cam too. So it's just these guys have been working, and it's just coming to show. And along with the guys that don't play, our scout team has gotten us ready for games more than you can believe. They have to remember the other team, all their sets, what their players do, and help us prepare. So I mean, every single person on that bench, even Maddie, our athletic trainer, all just helped us come to this win.
And final thing, I mean, now you go home, you got Air Force before you're back on the road, but just your thoughts on celebrating this one, but turning the page because you got a lot of big games left.
Yeah, we did our celebrating in the locker room. We're done. We're ready to flip the next page and go get them.
We appreciate you, man. Congrats on the win.
BJ.
Safe travels back.
Appreciate you.
Big time win, man. And Chibuzo Agbo again, 16 points, 7 rebounds, huge game, and he helps Boise State to a big win. Let's take a quick break, 90 seconds. We'll reset here. We'll take your comments, your thoughts. There's over 400 of you watching us live. Boise State, one of the biggest wins of the Leon Rice era. We'll break it down next in 90 seconds on Bronco Nation News. Bronco Nation News is sponsored by Tommy Alquist and Ball Ventures Alquist, Idaho's premier commercial real estate development company. BVA projects specialize in office, retail, flex, medical, and industrial spaces located at some of the most strategic and visible locations in the valley. Need a developer? Looking for new space? Think BVA. At BVA, we are Idaho's developer. The Nicolason family and SON management have proudly been operating Taco Bell restaurants in and around the Treasure Valley since 1969. One of the first to make a 7-figure donation to the Lyle Smith Society, they've also stepped up their support of Boise State athletics with the Taco Bell men's and women's basketball endowed scholarships. The Nicolason family and SON management have committed at least $310,000 by 2026. Get more information on their financial support of Boise State athletics and find information on applying to work at Taco Bell at TacoBellWorks.com. Lithia Ford of Boise is a proud supporter of Boise State athletics and the official car and truck of the Broncos. Lithia Ford of Boise supports Bronco student athletes through NIL deals, including providing Ford vehicles to Taylon Green and Riley Smith from the football team and Paige Barsh from the volleyball team. Rain's family purchased our F-150 from Lithia Ford. Couldn't be happier with the purchase. Check out the all-electric F-150 Lightning or the electric Mustang Mach-E at Lithia Ford, and make sure to check out their full inventory of vehicles at LithiaFordBoise.com. The Blue and Orange Store is the perfect spot to get all your gear for your next Bronco game. The Blue and Orange Store has official Nike apparel, including jerseys, shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, and more. Wear what the Broncos wear and get it at the Blue and Orange Store, the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall, or get free shipping on a $40 order online at theblueandorangestore.com. Back here live on the Lithia Florida Boise postgame show. I'm not going to lie, folks. I had a feeling they were going to win this game. I had a chance to fly back after the game with our BNN supporter sponsor that has a plane, and I'm lucky enough to sneak on sometimes. And I was offered a ride back tonight after the game, and I turned it down because I did not want to not be able to do a postgame show after Boise State won. So I just had a weird feeling they were going to keep it close and had a weird feeling they might win, and I canceled the ride, and I'm staying, and we can go as late as you guys want tonight. And I'm flying back tomorrow morning with a layover in Denver, but certainly worth it for that one for Boise State fans. So we have the post game show, and we can go as late as you'd like. I apologize that we couldn't get Max Rice on. They're trying to hurry to their charter. He went on the radio broadcast with Bob and Abe, and it just worked out better to have Buzo jump on, and they were ready to go. So I do apologize we couldn't get Max on for you, but we appreciate Buzo. Also, Omar Stanley for joining us as well, but and Leon Rice. So if you came in late and missed any of those interviews, you can go back and watch those. They'll be on the full show and then the YouTube channel as well. And again, appreciate you for working with us. The Albuquerque Journal had a writer here, and they were not going to let us have the players on live because if any other media wants to talk to Coach or whoever, they just do one interview, and I was going to have to tape them, but I worked it out with the Albuquerque Journal where we do it live, but they were able to ask the questions. So if you couldn't hear his questions, I apologize. But what can you say about Max Rice? A lot of the comments trying to look back and find of him. So many people hating on him. This is the Max we've all been waiting for. So happy for Max Rice. Max, I guess there's no debate on this. He's our Bauscher Real Estate player of the game. Matt Bauscher, BauscherRealEstate.com. Check him out for all your real estate needs. And whether you're buying, selling, doesn't matter the size of the home. He's here to help you. Him and his team are ready at BauscherRealEstate.com. And Matt Bauscher was on the jet. That is going to be a very fun jet ride back to Boise tonight. Very fun charter back to Boise as well. And again, Boise State able to win this one. And Matt Bauscher was here. And our Matt Bauscher player of the game is none other than Max Rice. 35 points. And again, he was hitting the short shots that we had all said he needs to stop hitting. He was hitting the longer shots. And I kind of stand by what we said. Like if anybody wanted to get mad or whatever, or Max or Leon or whatever, like, oh, you're criticizing him, like, he wasn't shooting very good. I think everything that Mike Prater and everybody said, like, the facts are facts. He was not shooting great, but I did believe that he had a game like this in him. And up until last week, a lot of you guys were getting on me saying I was being too positive about Max Rice because I thought that this could happen. And certainly it did happen, and it happened in a perfect game for Boise State. We'll see what happens in the net rankings, but Ken Pom already updated, and Boise State up 11 spots to number 50 in the Ken Pom rankings. So when you are supposed to lose by 9 and you win by 8 against a team that's ranked higher than you, that's going to move the metrics a little bit. So we'll see where they are in the net ranking, but that's a huge quad one win. That's a huge win, period, over a Boise State, over a New Mexico team that they just won by 34 points against Nevada in here a couple days ago. So you see the team play like this, and you're like, well, what happened against UNLV? What happened against Utah State? Like, this team can obviously clearly beat anybody in the league and can win at any place in the league. And so we'll see what happens here. I see there's some New Mexico folks that have infiltrated the chat. I hopefully won't have to block anybody. Just keep it clean. And somebody asked me if I had some updated power rankings. Might be a little early on the troll job on the power rankings. I'll wait a little bit on that. But I certainly made the decision last week. I almost waited one more week. But I feared for my life coming into the pit if I would have still had Boise State ahead of New Mexico. So I didn't do it. But you can certainly switch, and you can certainly switch it now and say, hey, they beat them head to head. And move Boise State ahead if you'd like. Jennifer says, thanks for staying and do this. Nope. Well, this is my job. No worries. And as a heads up, next week at Colorado State, it may be a short show. We are doing a sponsor trip to Colorado State with our sponsor on the jet. And I'm taking Matt Bauscher and Travis Hawks and Stan Nicolason from Taco Bell and a lot of our great sponsors. I am taking them down to the Colorado State game. So pre-game, post-game shows are going to be iffy for the Colorado State game, which is why I wanted to make sure we stayed and had one tonight. And that was just so much fun. Max Rice, watching him do what he did. I mean, Just incredible. Some of the 3-pointers he hit, he was even hitting the short shots. I mean, and even when Boise State would miss one, he'd be right there for the offensive rebound and the putback. How loud was the pit on a scale of 1 to 10? It was very, very loud. It was probably an 8 to 9. I mean, it was maybe 9.5. I mean, I don't know what we're comparing it to. I did say all week Boise State wouldn't win this game, but I said this morning that I was starting to talk myself into it, that I thought that they had a chance to keep this thing, to at least keep this thing close. I talked myself into it probably in the last 24 hours or so. I think yesterday with Jay Tust. I mean, and one of the main reasons was all the stats, all the metrics, all the momentum of them coming off the big win, Boise State coming off the loss. Like, there was really nothing on paper that said Boise State should win this game. And that's one of the reasons in the last 12 hours that I started to really think they might have a chance. And so, and then you had Kobe Young rolling the ball up the ramp. I don't know if you guys all saw that. I can play that here maybe. But before the game, maybe this was a sign of things to come. All visiting teams try to roll the ball up the ramp, and it has only happened like 10 or 15 times in like the last 60 years that the pit's been open. It's a very rare thing for it to happen. And Kobe Young, he did it. So this was on the this is earlier today at their shoot around. The reaction from the guys there. It was just kind of the sign of things to come there for Boise State today. And Kobe Young didn't get in the game. I know a lot of people were saying, hey, put him in the game. Not really an opportunity to do that. But, man, is it funny, just the swing of emotions for a guy like Max Rice. Super impressive. And a lot of fans are eating some crow. Myself included. But I think I hung on a lot more than a lot of you did in terms of saying he should still be playing out there. And this last week, I think, it was when Jay Tuss had some of the stats, really showing where he ranked, and certainly coming off the loss to Utah State. You're looking for things that need to get better. And that was an easy one to point out and kind of criticize and stuff. But, good kudos to Max Rice. What can you say? Again, 12 of 20 from the field. He was 7 of 14 from downtown, which makes him 5 of 6 inside the 3-point line. So we did say maybe he needs to stop shooting some of those floaters and stuff, but he had some smaller guards on him. And we said on the pregame show with Abe Jackson, maybe this is the game where you do that. And he did it, and he stepped up in a big way. 35 points in 38 minutes. I don't think anybody's complaining about Max Rice playing 38 minutes tonight. Mike Prater's column on Max Rice may have to have a little different tone to it. He was going to wait till this game and then write a column, and we'll see. Looking at the stats here, Omar Stanley, 12 points. Again, 14 rebounds for Omar Stanley. Let's look at the breakdown here. 5 offensive rebounds, 9 defensive rebounds, 14 rebounds for Stanley. Degenhart only had 4 points, was 1 of 8 from the field. Really wasn't much of a factor tonight, but he was dealing with a little bit of foul trouble, and at second half, it got to just give Max Rice the ball. No one else needs to be taking a shot here. So, Agbo had 16 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks. By the way, Stanley had 2 blocks as well. Max Rice had 2 steals, did have an assist, 5 rebounds to go along with his 35 points. And the bench, I asked a couple of those guys about the bench. The bench deserves some big-time credit. Jace Whiting had 7 points. Cam Martin had 6. I thought the bench was very impressive tonight. 13 points off the bench again, stepping up. Boise State had 69 possessions in the game. Nice number, and they scored 38 times. So their points per possession, 1.246. I got to imagine that's one of the highest in the Leon Rice era to score 1.2 points per possession. That was they led the game for 27 minutes and 47 seconds, only trailed for 9:32. And I got to tell you, if you've never been to the pit, I mean, it is just an incredible place to watch a game, and it really does feel like that the team is down or whatever, and you look up, oh, Boise State's still up 6. I remember one time Boise State, I think, was up 29-20, and they hit 1 3-pointer and had 1 basket, and the place was going nuts, and you're like, oh, who's up 6? Wait, is that Boise State or New Mexico? I mean, it is crazy loud here at the pit, and it wasn't even full tonight. But you just cannot say enough about the resolve, the toughness, and what it took for Boise State to be able to, in this atmosphere, in this crowd. I mean, there were 3, 4, 5, probably 10 times where New Mexico would hit a big shot and either tie the game or pull it within one. And you're thinking, oh, here we go. New Mexico is going to, make this tough. And time after time, Boise State hit huge shots. I mentioned some of the shots from Agbo. Rice had some big shots. Jace Whiting hit some big free throws. There from about 15 minutes on, I think the last lead for New Mexico, let's go back and check this out. Their last lead was with 15:25 to go. They led 49-48, and Boise State came right back down and scored. Then you had Max Rice hit a big three, and it was kind of all she wrote at that point. So New Mexico was up 8 at 10-2, and we didn't really get a chance to talk to Leon about that because we were short on time. But I don't know about you guys, but Boise State was down 10-2, and Leon needed a timeout, and the place was rocking. And maybe some of you guys were still watching the UConn game, which took forever, I heard. And but I know they started the game on FS2. But when Boise State was down 10-2 and this place was rocking, it didn't look good at that point for Boise State. But they battled back. They used a 14-0 run to go up 29-20, I believe it was, and then Max Rice took over. Agbo hit some key shots, and I think you got to give, the rebounding is one of the big keys in this game. 41-33. Boise State wins the rebounding battle. They hold New Mexico to 40.9%. By the way, what can you say about Donovan Dent? Kudos to Donovan Dent, 31 points. He was pretty much all of New Mexico's offense in this game. He was hitting pretty much every shot. He was crossing guys over, getting to the rim. Donovan Dent was unguardable. So this might have been a bigger Boise State blowout if not for Donovan Dent. Give him his props. He's the Matt Bauscher player of the game on the New Mexico side. He was 12 of 18 from the field, also hit 6 free throws, 6 of 7. He was 31 points. Jamal Mashburn had 14. Jalen House had 12. So those three combine 57 points for their big three. 57 points for their big three there of Dent, Mashburn, and House. But Toppin only had 8, and Joseph only had 4. Toppin did have 15 rebounds, but Nelly Jr. Joseph only had 4 points. So I thought Boise State defensively did a pretty good job limiting some of the things that they were trying to do. And again, Boise State only goes 9 of 27 from three-point range. Boise State was 3 of 15 from three in the first half and had the lead at halftime despite not shooting great. So Boise State only shoots 9 of 27 from the field from three-point range. They go 32 of 66 though for the game, which means their 2-point percentage must have been much higher in this game. And then also, by the way, the free throws ended up 17-19. At one point, the attempts were 16-8 in favor of New Mexico. I know they had to start fouling Boise State, so they caught back up, but 17-19. New Mexico only finishes with 2 more free throws than Boise State in this game. And one of the other things I wanted to look at was points in the paint. 46 points in the paint for Boise State. So they were really getting some offensive rebounds. What they finished with on second chance points, 17 second chance points for Boise State in this game, and 46 points in the paint. So, I thought that was a huge key in this game. It was the rebounding and just the physical play in the paint. Boise State, despite you could probably say New Mexico having bigger guys inside there with Joseph and Toppin, or at least even were able to. Boise State was able to control the paint, controlled the glass, and controlled the interior there. That was huge, I thought. The second chance points were 17-9. The points off turnovers, that's a big stat that New Mexico has really dominated in. Taking layups or steals at the top of the key and turning it into dunks and stuff here, especially at home. That just didn't happen. Boise State only had 11 turnovers in the game, only 6 points off turnovers for New Mexico. New Mexico took care of the ball as well. They only had 7 turnovers. So going to take a look at some of your comments here. Melinda says, drink on me when I see you in Vegas in March. Appreciate it. Get us all pumped up. But I appreciate that. I'm not going to say no to a free drink. But I wonder what time the hotel bar will close tonight if I can get back in time for a beverage or two. Maybe not, but that's all right. We'll go as late as we have to tonight, and then I got a story to write as well. Let's see here. Mountain West Player of the Week. Yeah, we'll see what he does against Air Force, but you have to imagine Max Rice, first Boise State player probably this year to be the Player of the Week in the conference. Stetson chiming in. This was a big win for Team Max and Leon. Go down as one of the best road wins in the Rice era. It's the second best in terms of ranking. Again, Creighton was ranked number 8, and after that, Boise State, number 19, I believe, tonight. They only had 4 ranked road wins in program history. The other 2 were number 24. I think one was Nevada and one was San Diego State. That certainly was a, well, you could say one of the biggest wins. You're on the road against number 19. And again, I just watched that game the other night. I know a lot of you guys watched it as well. Boise State's watching New Mexico beat Nevada by 34. And Nevada's not a bad team. And they just lost in this building less than 72 hours ago by 34 points. And they had won their last. I mean, you go look at what New Mexico had done of late, and it just makes this all that much more improbable. New Mexico was on a 5-game winning streak. They had beaten San Diego State in this building. They beat San Diego State by 18. That Air Force team that just beat Boise State, they beat them in here by 13. And then they also had wins over Air Force and San Jose on the road. And they came home and, as I said, just waxed Nevada by 34 points. 5 straight double-digit wins. They beat Wyoming by 16 in here as well. So, I mean, this is it's just hard to put into words the magnitude of this win for Boise State. It gives them another quad 1 win. One of their quad 1 wins, I believe it was Colorado State, dropped down. So they went down to 3. So they're back now up to 4 quad 1 wins. But this will be one that you won't have to worry about. This will be one that'll stay all season in terms of, being a quad 1 game all season. John Mallory is watching. He just sent me a text. Appreciate you, Johnny. He says, legit question, when are we getting your updated Mountain West power rankings? I usually do that on Saturdays, so maybe we'll wait and see, because Utah State has to go to San Diego State, and if they lose that game and Boise State's back in first place, maybe I move Boise State back to first right away. Would that troll some folks and have some fun with it? But, I mean, you could easily defend it now. Boise State just won at the pit. I mean, they have to be higher than New Mexico. So I cannot wait to check some of the Twitter mentions later and see some of I did bookmark a few. I bookmarked a few. I'm not going to lie. So on the plane tomorrow, or while I'm sitting to board tomorrow morning, I certainly may have a little Thursday troll to put a few out there. And I don't like to do it too much and poke the bear, but I do like to have a little fun. And if folks are going to rip on me and for being a homer and rip on me for how bad my rankings are and I'm the worst beat writer in the league and all this, well, I got every right to throw it back a little bit after a game like this. So just an unbelievably incredible win for Boise State. Kareem the Dream, he was hitting darn near everything. Let's see what else we got here. Everyone was going to Melts for the number 12 sandwich for tomorrow for lunch. That's the NIL deal he has with Melts. Head over there. Let's see what else we got. Shout out for Kobe Young for getting that ball rolling to a big win. Yeah, how about that? Let's see. Again, Mike Prater was on one the other day. He just said to stop shooting as much. But again, if you're making them, you can keep shooting them. And again, I'm going to defend everything everybody said. Nobody said Max Rice is terrible. They just said right now he's in a slump. Maybe he shouldn't shoot as much. So if anybody wants to get upset about it, like I said, Max or Leon or whoever, I don't know if they're upset or not or didn't like the criticism. Like, the stats were what they were. He was dead last in the conference in shooting, and we said maybe he shouldn't shoot as much. I don't think that's some huge thing to say. Nobody thought he should be benched. Nobody said his minutes should be cut. But he certainly stepped up and showed you tonight why he's been continuing to shoot and why Boise State has been letting him shoot this much, because they knew he had a game like this in him at some point here in the near future. So Max is the difference maker on this team. When he shoots well, we can beat anybody. Grand Tetons owes Max Rice a cup of Texas tea. So happy for Max, Cam, and Jace. Coaches had a great game plan. Can't let down against Air Force. Tough road games. I thought Boise State's defense was tremendous. I thought they really made some nice, just did not make it easy. I know Donovan Dent carved him up, but I thought Boise State had a tremendous game. And I'll tell you what, I was at the hotel this morning and I ran into Leon and he said, hey, if you want to come over to the shoot-around today, feel free. Just don't report anything that you see. And I said, oh, okay, sure. I'm just sitting around the hotel waiting for an 8:30 game. So I Ubered over here and sat over here by myself and was watching the shoot-around. And I'll tell you what, these assistant coaches need a ton of credit. Mike Burns, Tim Duryea. They had New Mexico scouted so well. And Mike Burns, I believe this was his scout, going through all the inbounds plays they had, all the sets they had. He knew every play that New Mexico was going to run, and they had worked through this with the players and film and stuff, and they were going through it today. And it was just a clinic, because what they saw, what they were working on is shoot-around. They were ready to defend the guards and make some, not let the post players go off, and it worked, and it paid off tonight. So big kudos to Mike Burns and the whole coaching staff for the scouting and being ready for this game tonight. It was clear that Boise State was prepared and ready, and I think Leon Rice deserves a ton of credit as well. All the haters want to get on Leon. There was some even this morning on our post-game show. Nate Staley and some other folks were getting on him, but to have this team lose in overtime, lose on the layup there to go to overtime with 1 second left, that was a devastating loss. And to bounce back in this environment with this crowd, it really is hard to explain. I mean, for folks that were not here, it's just, I mean, we're going to get Matt Boucher on in the next day or two, but it was an incredible win, and certainly deserving of all the praise that is headed their way. Let's see. Skipping over some of the troll comments and some of the other stuff. Wazoo and UNLV were tough losses, but without those, they wouldn't be here. I could see that. Hard to beat a team with 3 great guards. Excited to root for all the teams in March. Dayton Robinson says 4-4 in quad 1, 4-1 in quad 2. That is now 8-5 in the first 2 quadrants. Yeah, you got to be huge fans of UNLV. It's probably a long shot, but if UNLV can go on a run here and get back into the top 75, that would be huge for Boise State to get that quad 3 loss off their resume. That UNLV one is one that's going to stick with them, and the Wazoo one as well was a game they should have won, and now they're battling with Wazoo right there on the bubble, and the head-to-head could matter there. So those are 2 they certainly would like to have had back. Should have probably won the Utah State game as well. So Boise State is very close to being in a much different situation. But again, they're up to number 50 now at Ken Palm. They went up 11 spots. They are projected to win by 14 against Air Force. So you'd like to see a blowout win over 14 against Air Force on Saturday. And then they go on the road to Colorado State, where they're projected to lose by 4. I thought Colorado State was the most winnable of the 3, by the way. So now that you have this one, you go to Colorado State, which I think is a winnable game also. All of a sudden things change here. So 4-4 again, as Dayton said. So 8-5 in the first 2 quadrants is certainly nice, and that'll it's one thing to beat New Mexico at home or something, or to beat San Diego State or Colorado State at home, but you come to the pit, that's going to turn some heads. How loud compared to last year? I would say close. I would say maybe not quite as loud, but it was certainly very, very loud. It's been the loudest environment of the season by far. But again, it was not that loud when Max Rice got going. Joel York says, I will see you in Vegas, booked until Sunday. Perfect time to bring up our pool party. I hope that Joel York's going to be there. I'm looking for you. Need to RSVP if you're coming, Joel, because you're not on there yet. We are looking forward to this. We are going to be down in Las Vegas for the Mountain West Tournament, and we're going to be at Stadium Swim, the BNN KTIK pool party on Friday, March 15th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Join us. And again, Reigns at BroncoNationNews.com. You have to RSVP and you get free entry. We'll skip the $50 cover charge. We'll let you in for free. We're going to have a private pool. We're going to have some cabanas. If you're a paying subscriber, you're going to get a free drink or 2 and some appetizers. We're going to hang out, watch other games all day, and hopefully be getting ready for Boise State in the semifinals that night of the Mountain West Conference Tournament. So if you'd like to stay at Circa or the D, if this win tonight convinced you to go to Vegas, Circa or the D, I've got 15% off link for you if you want to stay there, and I highly recommend that. But if you want to stay somewhere else, make your plans on Friday to join us for the pool party at Stadium Swim. If you've never been to Circa and Stadium Swim, it is an incredible spot, and we hope you'll take advantage of that. We hope you'll also take advantage of our VIP basketball experience. We're giving away a trip for 2 to San Diego for the final game of the season. Who knows what's going to be on the line for that one? All you got to do is pay $50 for a 1-year subscription. BNN50 deal is the promo code. Sign up at BroncoNationNews.com. You're automatically entered if you're a yearly subscriber. So all of our previous yearly subscribers are already in. If you want in now, you get a year of Mike Prater, a year of myself, full coverage, a daily email. You get stories, full access to the videos on the site. And then you're also entered in our subscriber giveaways and contests like the one we're doing here in a couple of weeks to give away a trip for 2 on a private jet. You get a night hotel. You get to go to the game. It's going to be an awesome trip at the end of the season. Thanks to Ridley's Family Markets, Boucher Real Estate, the Blue and Orange Store, and Cutwater Spirits for sponsoring that. So again, sign up, and at BroncoNationNews.com, you'll be automatically entered in this contest. Speaking of the Blue and Orange Store, they got the NIL shirts. They got all kinds of gear. They still have the football Mountain West Championship gear. So shout out to Travis Hawks and Company at the Blue and Orange store. If you are looking for some Boise State gear, no better spot than the Blue and Orange store. We'll keep taking your comments as long as you have them. We'll keep this thing going. I'm not in any rush to get out of here. Like I said, I could have flown back right after the game, decided to stay, and that means we got time to go all night if you guys want to keep celebrating this. Loved the grit, composure, and just plain pissed off attitude the team had throughout the game. Showed a ton of heart and fortitude. And I said it earlier, but unless you were here, it's just so hard to understand what it meant to have them hit a bucket, and it felt like the roof was caving in. It felt like Boise State had no chance, and it was either tied or Boise State was still winning. There were so many haymakers that it seemed like New Mexico threw. There was a three-pointer that Jamal Mashburn Jr. hit that made it 67-67, and that was just a huge turning point right after that, because Boise State came back and calmly went on that big run to finish out the game. But I think that was the under 8 timeout when Jamal Mashburn hit that three, and it was 67-67. And for them to just weather the storm time and time again, just super impressive. And again, TL's happy for Max Rice. I think everybody is happy for Max Rice. Just incredible performance by him, and he deserves all the praise he's getting. And any trash he wants to talk about, folks were ripping on me, blah, blah, blah. He can do all of that, because he certainly deserves it tonight and has a chance. Yeah, I made the Oblivious cam. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. I did make the Oblivious cam for about 2 minutes. I asked Omar Stanley before we started the show if he saw it. He said yes, but they didn't help me. I guess one of the trainers was trying to tell me, but it was almost 2 minutes. Now, in fairness to me, here's the Oblivious cam, by the way. They put you on the scoreboard, they start the clock, and then they see how long it takes you, how oblivious you are to look up and realize that you're on the screen. So in fairness to me, I'm doing a live pregame show. I'm not looking up at the scoreboard during the show, but it got to about 2 minutes before I finally got a couple of text messages, and then I looked up and everybody enjoyed it and got me, and I had a nice wave there. But yes, I was on the Oblivious cam. Maybe that's what it takes now for Boise State to win a game, is for me to be on the Oblivious cam during the game. But I guess it was about 2 minutes or so before I noticed it, and it is what it is. I don't know if they knew who I was or if they were just having fun picking random people or what, but it is what it is there. Let's see. The issue with Max is consistency. That was huge. Everyone was locked in. I agree. Seems to get almost every loose ball, 50-50 rebound just well. By the way, with Max, his shot to make it 80-71 looked like a wild shot, reminding me of playing YMCA ball. But yeah, I mean, he deserved that at that point. He was letting it fly, and that's the thing about Max Rice. Once he hits a couple early shots, his confidence is just sky high, and he airballed one. He airballed one pretty early in the game, and the whole crowd was all over him yelling airball. And he came back and hit his next one, and right away got it back and got the confidence going. And I thought that was a huge, huge turning point for him, was to hit that next one right after the airball. While they were chanting airball, he drains one. That quieted them for a little bit, and then, that was kind of, at that point, they just kept feeding him the ball, and he kept making them. What was the deal with the commentary? Can we get an interview of the TV commentators so we can hear all their cheesy lines again? By the way, they were here. They were over here to the right. They were at the game. I know some folks were saying there was no way they were here. They were actually at the game. Kareem the Dream loved the announcers on that insane Rice 3. He went crazy. I can't wait to watch the replay of the game back in my hotel later tonight, but let me know what they said that was so good or bad. Seth also liked them, said that they were that the commentators rocked. They did trail in the second half briefly. There was about 15 minutes left in the second half. They were down by 1, so they were trailing briefly. Let's see, tied at 67 with 7 minutes or so. Yep, that was right when Mashburn hit that 3 that I thought was just incredible. And guys, I don't know if I should say this, because I don't know if we're going to get some other coaches to come on, but the 3 Mountain West coaches that have all come on before the game now to talk to me on Bronco Nation News Live are 0-3. We had Steve Alford on. Boise State went and won at Nevada. We had Nico Medved on, and Boise State won against Colorado State. And now in this atmosphere, in this environment, we got the head coach of New Mexico, Richard Pitino, on yesterday, and he came on live, and we're very appreciative and thankful that. And then Boise State takes him down. So if you're an opposing SID, I hope you're not watching this, because we are now, I guess 3-0 in terms of having an opposing coach come on and then Boise State beating them. So we'll see. The 1-3-1 defense, that was huge. Boise State switched to it coming out of a timeout. They weren't ready for it, and they made a couple nice plays. So kudos to the coaching staff, Mike Burns and company, for going zone there. Andy Hill, and I'm a little behind on this, so I apologize if you guys were asking these questions a while ago. I'm trying to catch up here, make sure I don't miss anything. Getting nervous when it was 10-2. Yeah, you ain't the only one. I was like, man, Boise State's could be in for a tough one here tonight. Down 10-2. But Leon Rice needed a timeout, and kudos to the officials. I thought that they had some, both sides had some questionable calls, but I thought they were equally. I'll say good. I mean, I thought they were fine tonight. There was a big blocking call they called on Jalen House when Agbo was going up for a shot, and Randy Richardson was very emphatic with the block, and the crowd couldn't stand that one. There was a couple others back and forth that both coaches were arguing about. Certainly the fans were disagreeing with every call, but I thought overall the refs made some calls and were not afraid really to call something against New Mexico when they needed to. And we don't have highlights on this, Robbie. I apologize for that. I'm here by myself and had a lot going on, and I've got the final play, but I don't have a lot of highlights, and we can't play the FS1 ones or we'll lose the monetization on this video. So 6-2, the only undefeated team on the road. So Boise State 6-2, sole possession of second place. I'll see if I can get the CBS Sports standings up here, and we'll bring this in. They're usually the ones that update pretty quickly here, so I'll see if we can do that while we're talking. But again, Utah State has to go to San Diego State on Saturday. So if you're a Boise State fan, you certainly want to be rooting for San Diego State on Saturday. And yeah, looks like I can share my screen here. We'll go to the standings, and we will bring this in right here. Updated standings. In the Mountain West Conference, you got Utah State at 7-1, Boise State at 6-2, New Mexico now behind them at 6-3. So New Mexico, San Diego State, Wyoming, all with 3 conference losses. Colorado State, UNLV, and Nevada already have 4, and there's Boise State sitting at 6-2 in conference play. So what this does is, if you beat Air Force, you can now, theoretically lose both games next week. Now I think you try to go 1-1, given what you just did down out here tonight. Go get another one. But if you do lose both next week, that puts you 7-2 and then 7-4 in conference play. And then you have 6 winnable games. I know the at Wyoming game is going to be a sneaky tough one, but you've got some winnable games coming up for Boise State, and there is now a path for Boise State if they can win the next 6 games, because you would have New Mexico and Nevada coming at home at the end of the season. Again, Fresno. So after that, you have Fresno and San Jose at home. Those should be wins, and then at Wyoming, at Air Force, and those aren't going to be easy. But if Boise State can win those 6. Again, they would be 7-4. They win the 6 to go to 13-4. Would they be 13-4 in conference play going into the final game against San Diego State? Would that be right? Or even a loss would only put them at 13-5. I think that math adds up. So Boise State, by stealing this one here tonight, all of a sudden has a little bit more margin for error now in terms of upcoming games. But even if they lose both games next week, they could win the next 6 and be 13-4 in conference play going into the last game against San Diego State. So just a massive win for Boise State. Again, 7-1. Utah State is first, but they have to play on Saturday at San Diego State. So if they lose that game and they're 7-2 and Boise State wins and they're 7-2, all of a sudden you got a first place tie again. Utah State would have the tiebreaker given the fact that they beat them in the head-to-head. But New Mexico, this is a bigger, it was a huge win for Boise State. But when you blow a home game like that with the schedule that New Mexico has coming up, I'll see if I can put the New Mexico schedule on the screen here, the Ken Palm schedule for New Mexico while we're sharing stuff. Why not? Let's stop sharing that screen. Let's add it here. But the reason that this was a big loss for New Mexico is they've got a really tough schedule coming up. And you look at what they have coming up. They got to go to Wyoming now on Tuesday, which is not easy. They have the bye this weekend, and then they're home to UNLV. But they are at Nevada, at San Diego State the following week. They still have to go to Boise State and Utah State as well. So 5 road games left for Nevada or for New Mexico, and they could very easily lose all 5 of those games. So this was a devastating home loss for New Mexico. Their schedule is certainly going to get tougher, so you think they're going to lose a couple of games in terms of the standings. And we'll go find Utah State's schedule as well. Again, Utah State just having a tremendous season, 19-4. But if we can blow this up a little bit so you guys can see this. This is the and go subscribe to Ken Palm, by the way. It's only $20. It's a great value, and I highly recommend it. But they got to go to San Diego State. They do have Nevada and Boise State at home, but they still have to go to Wyoming and Colorado State. And they've still got to play San Diego State and New Mexico as well. So Utah State's got some tough games as well. So this thing is not going to be decided anytime soon. But Boise State's dream of winning the regular season Mountain West title, which would be obviously guaranteeing them a spot, not actually guaranteeing it, but if you win this league, you're going to the NCAA tournament. It's back. It's back. It's back in play. I mean, winning the Mountain West is back in play after the way Boise State just won that game. Leon Fluster Dent with the 1-3-1 at the most critical stretch of the game. Again, hats off to Dent. 31 points. He was amazing too. I don't know when the last Mountain West game was where he had 2 players with 30 points. But just incredible. Got to get Omar a deal. We need to get it with our friends out at Lean Feast. The Stanley Salad out at Lean Feast. Let's make that happen if we can. Road Warriors, yeah, Boise State 4-0 on the road in the Mountain West. Again, I know one of them was San Jose. I know one of them was Fresno. They've still got a lot of tough games left, but to be 4-0 on the road, again, I hate to play the what-if game, but you really got to be saying, man, if they just hadn't blown the game against UNLV or Utah State, they would be in such an even better position than they already are. Let's see. Don't think it's a coincidence Max had a big game tonight. The team had 14 assists while Roddy was in foul trouble. Let's see. They made 32 buckets and had 14 assists. Roddy Anderson was in foul trouble. And again, give Jace Whiting a lot of credit. He played 19 minutes tonight, made both his shots, was 3 of 4 from the field, 7 big points, had a couple rebounds. And the biggest stat maybe for Jace Whiting, 0 turnovers. They gave one to Max Rice that probably should have gone to him. Max Rice passed it, and then it was a miscommunication. They gave it to Max Rice. Probably should have been but overall, that was, I thought Jace played great. Cam Martin, man, I wish I had a highlight of that dunk. That was an incredible dunk by Cam Martin down the lane, quieting the crowd. He took off, and that was just a huge. Hunter says this will be an all-time Boise State basketball game. Yeah, we'll look back at this one hopefully at the end of the season. And as I said, I mean, this is a win at New Mexico now shows up on your resume in terms of a good win. Not only is it a quad 1 win, but it's a good win. When they put the TV graphic up, good wins, bad losses, this is certainly going to be on the good win category, winning at New Mexico. So now you want New Mexico you'd like them to keep winning, I guess, but if they lose a couple games, then they'll fall in the standings. But you want to have this, all these teams stay as high as they can at this point. Why is Boise State still 30 points behind New Mexico and Ken Palm? That's just how it works. You don't jump 50 spots after one game. You don't drop 40 spots after one game. That's just how it works. There was a huge gap. It was like, 17 to 54 or 64, whatever it was. You weren't going to just swap them that quickly. But again, it was a quad 1 win, 4th quad 1 win of the season. Cam Martin had a huge plus-minus number, at least in the first half. Let's go up here to the stats here and see what he had. Cam Martin finished +8 for Cam Martin. We can put the stats up here on the screen. Roddy Anderson, again, 6 points. Did have those 4 fouls. You see Stanley there with the 12 points and 14 rebounds. Degenhart, he was a factor, not much of a factor tonight, but still had 7 rebounds and made some nice plays, 3 assists as well. Agbo, 16 points, and again, had that huge 3-pointer from the corner. Had another big shot that he made as well. I was super impressed with some of the shots that Agbo hit. He really quieted the crowd, and there you see the 35 points from Max Rice, 12 of 20 from the field, 7 of 14 from 3, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, and again, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. And, Boise State was in a little bit of foul trouble. Anderson had 4. Degenhardt and Rice both kind of picked up cheapies for 3 there in the second half. But to have Omar Stanley play 35 minutes, only have 2 fouls, that was huge because was just controlling the glass, had a couple huge putbacks and stuff. And you see 13 offensive rebounds, 4 from Tyson, 5 from Stanley, 2 from Agbo. They just really controlled the glass. Just super, super impressive in all facets in this game for Boise State. How much equity does this win build with the selection committee? Does this outweigh erase the UNLV loss? Oh, I think so. Yeah. I think that it certainly helps. I think that it's certainly going to swing things back in their favor. It's another quad 1 win. You'd like to see Colorado State get going again. I don't know what the rankings were. We'll check them right now. They're not updated yet, obviously, for today. But New Mexico was 16th. San Diego State 23rd. Colorado State was 32nd. So Colorado State's right there on the verge. They're 32nd. You need Colorado State to go up 2 spots, and that would make that another quad 1 win, which would give Boise State 5. And again, don't forget, last year, Boise State only had 3 quad 1 wins all of last season. They're already up to 4 at this point. And Virginia Tech is barely hanging on as a quad 1 loss, by the way. They're at number 50, so you may drop down to 4-0 in quad 1 or whatever it would be. I guess no, that's not right because there's a Clemson one, there's a couple others there, but one of the quad, I guess you would drop to 4-2 in quad 2 because Virginia Tech is on the verge. So you need Virginia Tech to keep winning. Butler is at 54. You'd like to see Butler win a few more games and get that loss up into quad 1 as well. And Boise State was 56. I'm going to guess they go to 47, 48. They're going to go up about 8 spots from this one. I think they went up 8 spots when they beat Nevada. And I think this is a bigger margin. So they could go up 7, 8, 9, 10 spots maybe. So they're 56. They should shoot up into the mid 40s, you would hope. And that's a nice one. San Francisco is at 57. Nevada's at 62. I'm going to say that you need Nevada to start winning some games. If Nevada falls out of the top 70, you lose a quad 1 win for that one, beating them at their place. They're 62nd. So you need Nevada to keep winning here. As I'm scrolling down this and looking at it, in North Texas, they're 71. North Texas has dropped down to a quad. I guess it's 75. So, yeah, North Texas is barely hanging on to quad 2. You really, if you're Boise State, need North Texas to start winning a couple games so that doesn't fall down even further in terms of the quad 2 win becoming a quad 3 win as well. So the metrics are certainly going to be taking a nice boost from this one after Boise State wins. Again, the final score 86-78. We got a Lobo fan popping in, congratulating Boise State. We got some folks thanking him. Classy move, agreed there. Dent, yep. Lobos feed off the energy. Let's see what else we got here in the. Yes, David, I kept some receipts. We'll see what I want to do with that moving forward. Let's continue. Hats off to Burns. Totally agree for his defensive effort there. It is almost midnight back in Boise, and we got 217 of you still watching this. Pretty impressive. Super, super thankful and really appreciate you guys. And want to give a couple of quick shout outs. We'll keep this thing going, but just do want to thank a couple of our sponsors. Taco Bell. If you're looking for a job, TacoBellWorks.com. They're hiring. Check them out, and they'll give you half your pay the very next day after your shift. So if you need some quick cash, Taco Bell can do that for you with their new program. Check them out, TacoBellWorks.com. And perfect time to wake up tomorrow and get one of their breakfast quesadillas or the breakfast food on the way into the office. Bring some in for the whole crew. Celebrate the win tonight. We appreciate the Nicolason family, SON management, and our friends at Taco Bell. And certainly very appreciative of Idaho Central Credit Union as well. ICCU.com. Check them out. They're the best in mobile eBranch online banking. They have the app. That's what we use. The Raines family is so happy with Idaho Central Credit Union. So check them out. The best. And there's branch pretty much on every corner. So check them out. Idaho Central Credit Union. Max Rice praise better be as loud as the disrespect. Dude was stealing every line out there. I guess he was talking about the commentators. Mike says, enjoyed the commentators. Plenty of bland ones so far. Melinda's looking forward to Stadium Swim. Yeah, we're super excited about that. So hopefully folks will, RSVP and make plans to go and let me know about it. Shane is asking about where Max Rice's game ranks all time in Boise State history since I've covered the team. In my 11 years here, I mean, Chandler Hutchison had 44, I think, to beat San Diego State at home. There's been some big-time ones, but the Max Rice 28-point game against San Diego State last year with some of the huge threes at the end of the game was big, but I'd have to think about that, Steve. Shane. That's a good question. It's got to be up there, probably top 3, and that might have been the best performance I've ever seen by a Boise State athlete, given in person, given the circumstances, given the crowd, given how good New Mexico is, given what's on the line. Just super, super impressive, and just the way that he hits so many of those big daggers there late in the second half, late in the shot clock to really stop the momentum that they had going there with New Mexico was just super, super impressive. 7 of 14 from 3-point range. So creamy cold Boise, all the Max detractors, this is your time to issue public apology. You have the floor. Dean pointing out that I was the Boise State's 3-0 after the interviews with the other coach. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. The Oblivious cam, that's actually amazing. Yeah, it was funny, and I'm glad I made it on there and gave some folks some fun there for a couple of minutes. Again, I don't know if it's like Max detractors having to, we'll see how far some guys went. If you said he was terrible and didn't deserve to play, I guess, yeah, you owe an apology. But if you were just looking at the stats, I don't think I said anything that was unfair to Max Rice. The stats were what they were. And I said, maybe at some point you got to try something different. So again, I don't think I said anything that was super critical. We just said that he was struggling to shoot the ball. And maybe you got to try something different. I mean, Jay Tuss said as much yesterday, and Johnny today, and Prater on Monday. I mean, Prater said, do not take him off the floor. He should be starting and he should be playing. Maybe he just shouldn't shoot as much. And I don't know how you can argue with that, given that his stats were literally worst in the Mountain West coming into the game. So if folks were going beyond that, then yeah, I guess you owe him an apology. But I don't think it was anything that was, wasn't, some of the only playing because his dad's the coach and all that. Yeah, that stuff's hogwash, and you should apologize for that. But in terms of saying that maybe he shouldn't be shooting as much when he's last in the Mountain West, I don't think is anything super crazy to say. But again, kudos to Max Rice. If that fueled him, I mean, he deserves all the praise he should get. I said on Twitter, he's one of the all-time greats at Boise State, and some people kind of challenged me and mocked me and said, what are you talking about? But I mean, Max Rice, we've talked about it. It's going to family court one day. It's not going to be the Leon Rice court. I think it's going to be the Rice family court because of what Max has meant, and now Cade and Robin being around, and just the whole family for 14 years have been a part of this program. And I think that what Max has done, he's over 1,000 points. He's top 30 all time in scoring. Some of the games that he has won, just unbelievable. Some of the games and performances he's had for Boise State. And so he's single-handedly winning them games like tonight. So super impressive. And I think that he deserves a ton of praise and a ton of credit, and good for Max Rice. Pretty cool that he had the game that he had tonight. Let's see what else we have here. You earned a new subscriber. Appreciate all the content. I hope you're talking about the $50 subscriber. We'd love to have you. BNN 50 deal is the promo code there at the bottom of the screen. You get all kinds of exclusive content on the website. Plus, you get in the giveaways as well. So, Chris, really appreciate you saying that. Thank you so much. And hope that was the monetary subscriber. But if you just meant on YouTube, I appreciate you for the YouTube subscriber as well. Let's see, Sprinkle up next. Yeah, I'll try to get him for next Saturday. We'll see if we can do that. Yep, get Sprinkle. We'll see what we can do. Let's see. Officials weren't terrible. I didn't think they were terrible. Maybe I'm saying that because Boise State won, but I thought they were equally. Who do New Mexico fans dislike more, Leon Rice or me? Not sure. Not sure on that. Brent, not sure why you're not watching it on YouTube. Most other people are. Let's see what else. Kobe Young needs give him a dude perfect challenge before every big game now. That was kind of started the momentum. I don't think Leon Rice thinks about starting Jace. Jace played pretty well, but he is kind of thriving now coming off the bench. And I think Roddy was just in some foul trouble. Let's see. Patino predicted Max Rice going off tonight. A lot of people, I think, kind of said, hey, this would be a perfect time for it. We kind of said that this morning on the pregame show. Maybe this would be the perfect time for it. Martin's dunk needs to be on a poster. I'm sure they've got photos of it on social media and stuff. We'll have to look there. Let's see what else we have here. Nevada not doing well. No, they're not right now. When do they kick you out of the stadium? That's a good question. There are some workers over here that are currently sweeping and cleaning up the floor, so I think I'm probably okay for a little while. I may go back to the hotel to write my story, though, because, you never know, and it is definitely – I'd say there's about 10, 15 people in here maybe that are sweeping the floors and trying to clean up, but I don't know the answer to that. It's 12:03. I'm certainly the only person on press row. I can try to turn the camera here and show you. There's nobody else on press row. That's Bronco Nation News, the only one here, and there's nobody else on the other side either. And again, Bronco Nation News, the only local media outlet, and I'm not bragging. I'm just not being arrogant. I get it. Some other, companies have budgets and things like that, but your subscriptions, your support of our sponsors makes it possible for Bronco Nation News to be here and do this post-game show and be the only local outlet aside from Bob and Abe, obviously on 670 KBOI, and Bob doing some work with KTIK, the only outlet down here in Albuquerque covering the Broncos, and the only one that's been to every game this season. We missed one game. I missed one game, the St. Mary's game, but we sent Brandon Walton down there. So Bronco Nation News has staffed every game this season, and we appreciate all of your support for making this possible. Let's see. Just looked up Roddy to max efficiency, and wow, something is all. I'm not sure kind of what you mean by there. Maybe you can explain. The Chandler Hutchison one is the best. That was certainly a big one. Ray J. Dennis against Utah State. That's another good one when he went for like 20 points in the last 4 minutes or whatever and hit some crazy threes, and Boise State came back and won that one. That certainly is a big one. Fan welcoming, I wouldn't expect it. I mean, you could probably search the flight sites out there, but they're not going to get back to like 2 in the morning probably. So I wouldn't expect that. And I don't even know if they come straight back to campus. A lot of players, I think, just drive their cars to the airport and go straight home. So I wouldn't plan on that tonight. And there's going to be bigger wins, hopefully, down the season. Let's see here. Scrolling down here, need to get sprinkled before the next game. I agree. BJ's the first reporter to ever sleep in the pit overnight. Given that my flight is pretty early tomorrow, that might have been an option. And again, I almost brought my stuff with me. I almost said, hey, I'm bringing my stuff, and if they lose, I'll take the jet back, and if they win, I'll stay. And I made the decision earlier this afternoon just to stay no matter what, and told my sponsor that I was not going to be riding down with him. And Matt Bauscher got a friend to take the seat, I believe, and they had a great time. I saw Cody Gogler was there in the second row having a great time as well, and I'm sure they're having a fun flight back right now. But Jordan says might be safer to stay inside there for the night. Yeah, maybe not the worst idea, to be honest with you, but I still got a story to write. I should have rode from Idaho Falls to Vegas. Yeah, it just wasn't possible. And we did the watch party there at Circa and had some fun. I get it. But let's see what else we got here. Thought fan welcoming stuff was a joke. Let's not do that one. So yeah, appreciate you guys. I think I made it to the bottom of the comments. We may go ahead and call this, even though there's still 161 of you on here watching. We've been going for an hour and 20 minutes, and we have 160 of you still on here, and I'm super appreciative of all that. So go subscribe if you can. BNN 50 deal. We appreciate you. It's only $50. That's less than $1 a week for a full year of coverage, and you help support us and be able to come down on these trips and stay the night in the hotel, the extra night tonight, and fly back commercially tomorrow. And all that stuff costs money, but we're able to give you a free show here for the last 81 minutes. Thanks to your subscriptions and thanks to our sponsors like rowpaint.com, our title sponsor. Go check them out, roepaint.com. The best. What are you waiting for? Just go. Don't mess up your house, mess up your clothes, mess up your floor. Let the professionals handle it. Interior, exterior painting. I highly recommend you using rowpaint.com. Anything else you have as well, whether it's industrial, commercial, residential. The concrete coatings are great as well. So rowpaint.com. Check them out. Please support the sponsors and help them out. If you're looking for a job, how about getting into the trucking industry? Transcompservice.com can help you out. Our trucking sponsor, they're the best in the business, and getting out in the open road and driving a big rig is a very lucrative profession right now. So Transcompservice.com, they can help you with all the paperwork and things to get you out there towing that first load in no time. So appreciate Jeff Meinert and company. So check them out. And again, that is our friends at transcompservice.com. All of our great sponsors. If I miss one of them, I'm very apologetic, but super appreciative of all of you guys. Bronco Brew Coffee. Make sure you go check them out as well and get some coffee. BroncoBrew.coffee. My wife just ordered some. It came in like 2 days, and she said today it was awesome. So super awesome to see Bronco Brew Coffee, how fast it comes, how delicious it tastes. And again, you're helping the NIL game at Boise State every time. So BroncoBrew.coffee. Check them out, and you will be not disappointed, and you're helping Boise State in the NIL game at the same time. So Thomas says, great show. Appreciate you. Great game. Good work. See you on Saturday. Appreciate all you guys. Thanks for the time and efforts. Yeah, appreciate it, guys. I mean, I'm not doing this for free. You guys are paying me with your subscriptions. I'd love to have more of you subscribe so that I can add another writer and continue to do some things. I would love to have a writer here writing the story, so I didn't have to go back now at 12:30 in the morning and write a full story for the site. But that's where we're at right now financially. So we'll take anything you can do. We appreciate you guys, and I would love to have you subscribe. BNN50 deal again is that promo code, and enters you in our big contest for that private jet, which we'll give away in 2 weeks. But in closing, unbelievable win for Boise State. At the pit, nobody gave them a chance. One of the biggest underdogs they've been in a couple years. And for them to come here in this atmosphere, in this environment, and play really well and take punch after punch and fight back and, win this game. It's one of the more impressive wins I've seen in the Leon Rice era. I know it's on the road, the second highest ranked team they've beaten, but certainly, and I think it's the third or fourth highest of all time that they've beaten in terms of Boise State. So, but in this atmosphere tonight and this crowd, 13,000 plus cheering, going crazy. This, in my 11 years covering the team, is one of the best wins I think I've ever seen for a Boise State team. So super impressive. They're rolling again. Their sole possession is second place. Their hope of a Mountain West championship is alive and well. Their hope of a at-large bid is alive and well. And certainly the Boise State has a lot to be excited about. And you have a lot to be excited about as fans. We'll have you covered every step of the way at BroncoNationNews.com. We'll be back at no live show tomorrow because I'll be flying back, so that we went a little later tonight. Hour and a half or so here. So no live show in the morning. I apologize for that. But Jay Tust and I will be live on Friday at 9 a.m. to recap this one a little more and then look ahead to the Air Force game on Saturday. So, big game against Air Force. I know it should be an easy win for Boise State, but every game matters. And if you don't have tickets yet, come on out to the Air Force game on Saturday. I think another 2:00 start. So great win for Boise State. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Appreciate you. Go have another Cutwater. And again, Cutwater Spirits, more than 35 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails, and you can pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. At large bid. Shane wants to say this will be our final comment of the night. What do they need to do? Again, they're now, what are they, 15? And let's go back here and see where they're at. Boise State is 15-6, and they're 6-2 in conference. I think they need to be under 10 losses by the end of the season. If they're at 9 going into the conference tournament, I think they're in an okay spot. So I think they can lose 3 more games before the conference tournament. So if they do lose 3 more games and they play 31 games, they would be 22-9 going into the conference tournament. That's probably going to be okay. 22-9, and then a quad 1 or 2 game would at some point drop them to 10 losses. I think that certainly that would be the probably where you need to be at this point. I would say 3 more losses in the regular season. So as Doug says, tell everyone to subscribe and like. And yeah, if you can't afford the subscription to the website, at least at a minimum, if you can follow all of our social media channels, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, we would really, really appreciate that. So I'm going to get packed up before they turn the lights out on me, go back to the hotel, going to write the story. So when you wake up tomorrow, you can read my full story and my thoughts on this win. And then again, Friday morning at 9 a.m., Jay Tust and I will break this one down. So thank you still here at 12:11 a.m., 139 of you still watching this in an hour and a half into the show. So super appreciative, super thankful, and glad that thanks to our sponsors and thanks to you guys, I was able to be here to cover this and to provide the pre- and post-game show here. So that'll do it. We'll sign off. Again, Lithia Ford of Boise, a post-game show from the Cutwater Studios, presented, of course, by our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Final score, 86-78. Boise State with one of the best wins in the Leon Rice era. and they improve again to 15-6 overall and 6-2 in Mountain West play. Now sole possession of second place. Big one for the Broncos. They'll try to keep it rolling against Air Force on Saturday. I'll be back Friday with Jay Tust at 9 a.m. You can read my story when you wake up. Go subscribe, BroncoNationNews.com. Appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your night. We'll talk to you later. BJ Rains from the pit, Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com.